And welcome to another episode of the Dawg on a Trucking podcast, where this week my guest is Mr. Sud Malhotra. He is a young trucking professional in the logistics and the transportation industry, specializing in safety. He's my guest this week. First, before we get to that, let me apologize for being late this week, just being a crazy week. This is the first time I've been late uploading an episode, so I do apologize for that. Now, a word from our sponsor. I am so privileged to be partnered with KRTS. Yes, Safety Dawg and KRTS have partnered to bring you a virtual truck driver training meeting on the American Thanksgiving long weekend. For details, click on the link below and give Kim Sytsma-Hill a call at KRTS. The phone number is right there. Give Kim a call, get all the details, and now on with the show. Welcome to another episode of the Dawg on a Trucking podcast. My guest this week is Mr. Sud Sud, see, I went and messed up your name. Let's bring Sud in here and he can give me heck and tell me exactly how to say his last name. Sud, welcome.
So, Sud Malhotra. That's my full name. Yeah.
Mr. Sud Malhotra is my guest this week. Sud, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for having me on the show. It's great to be here.
Hey, it's my absolute pleasure to have you on. You are one of the up-and-coming professionals in the industry. And I've got some questions for you, revolving around for instance, why did you choose trucking and how's your career been going so far? And I know you do a lot with a lot of different things, so we're going to get right into it. Sud, introduce yourself to our viewers and our listeners and give us a little background about just you.
So I can start off I started my career with G Capital in 2010 when I was back in India. And I did work with them with almost, I would say, 4.5 to 5 years. And then I came to Canada as an international student on May 2014. And I did my postgraduate diploma in business management, finance, and banking. There was no hope, no process that I have set up that I will go into the trucking. But it was kind of a destined thing. So I started to see trucking in Canada was like really big. And I thought, and I heard people saying, like everybody wanted to go into the trucking transportation business and my only question to those people was that why exactly? The similar question that you asked me, I used to ask them as well, like, why did they choose that career? What they see in that? And people used to tell me about one thing is the money factor. Now, I did have my career with J Capital. I did learn a lot of the things from there as well. But just for the money factor, I would not choose any career. Yes, it is good to have a good money, but also money can also only satisfy you for some time, not for the long term. So that was my initial thought, and somehow I needed a co-op job once my graduation was almost done, and I started with the trucking consulting company where I helping smaller fleets like 20 to 40 trucks fleet, helping them with their compliance, their log auditing. And from there, I think the spark actually started to come, but I was actually hungry for more knowledge. And then I started with the asset-based company, where you actually see the real trucks, the drivers who you interact with them. And I would say like people in the industry has actually pushed me in terms of learning more and more. That actually took me to the longer side and see this one as my long-term career that I can continue to do for the rest of my life. And I remember I can I remember from the time in 2016 when I met Charlie. That was the first time. I think I saw you as well at the first time in Milton when there was a seminar they organized every year, ISB Me, and I used to see you guys on social media, on LinkedIn, doing all those things at the time. And from there, I was learning many things. I have approached you, other industry people as well, in order to get some more knowledge, like how I can pursue my career, in what direction I should be going. So that was the first time I started to go out in the events like that, and that thing actually pushed me to do more, to get more from the industry, like what they have, for me to learn more and more in order to keep growing. And I think that's it is still on.
Well, I know you're active. Sorry, switch back to I hit the button there. I know you're active in a lot of things, such as PMTC, the Young Leaders Group, and I'll
Yeah.
ask you about that in a minute. How do you see your career going? Well, what is it that you're doing now? What role? Because you said you started off as working for a safety consultant, doing safety and compliance type regulations and doing that with smaller companies. You are now working with a larger company. What's your role there?
So currently, I am with the Power Bev. They're the Red Bull exclusive distributor in Ontario, and also they have a different company under the same umbrella, doing the same distributor channel in BC. And then there are some other group of companies that I support as a fleet manager role. And I support almost about 200 assets, and then about similar side of driver capacity in the company, where I'm doing with the trainings, compliance, all those under regulations and then also with the related to the vehicle sourcing, acquisitions, sales, and all that. So it's a big role, but also I have a huge different team members in the same department as well to support me. We do have a fleet controller as well that supports me from the top, and also the executive vice president of operations who actually gives me a lot of feedback continuously to what I'm doing and how we should be doing as a fleet.
So I didn't know that you're still you're still responsible for safety and compliance, but a lot more. You said acquisition of equipment, and did you not? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big role. How many people are in the department? Can you say?
So we are now, I would say, 3 people directly involved in this one. And I can't tell the number who are indirectly, because everybody is actually contributing that one simple task goal, which is like, we all have to bring something on the table in order to like get to that one main goal, but you have to have a safe fleet on road.
All right. So you mentioned safe. You're working for a company. They've got it's a large fleet right across Canada. It sounds like.
Yeah.
What are you doing to get your drivers? I don't want to say to behave. That's the wrong word, but certainly to drive in a safe and efficient manner. Are there certain things that you're pushing ahead on?
So the one thing I would say from the very beginning that I started in, I'm with this company for 2019. Like that, I've joined them in the beginning of the year, and one thing I have been trying to do in this company as a cultural change, and the best thing about this company is that they're very buying in to all those culture, so that they can actually be able to drive those from the top to the last bottom, which is like the actual driver who is taking our vehicle, taking our brand on the road. And also because our drivers are not only drivers, but also they are the salespeople. So they merchandise, they do the sales, but their major part of the job is also have a safe driving on the road, because we have a big brand on the trucks, vans. So we as a fleet, we have to protect that brand and also protect our drivers.
Well, a big part of it is protecting your drivers, protecting your brand, protecting your reputation. In regard, we're taping this and I don't want to say we're in the middle of COVID. I hope, God, I pray that we're nearing the end of this silliness, not silliness, but the end of this pandemic. We're taping this in the middle of October. So just to put it in context, when sometime down the road somebody's watching this, in the middle of October, we're still in COVID. Have you implemented anything special to help your drivers, your operators be protected from COVID?
Yeah, there were actually challenges at the very beginning when this hit in the month of March, when this was actually declared on March 11th that it's a global pandemic. And companies started to take those things as very serious, because our drivers actually meeting a number of people, each drivers doing about like 20 calls a day. So he would be visiting 20 stores where hundreds of people actually visit that store. So we did have a lot of exposure on a regular basis. So in order to protect our employees, we had to take a hard measure. The salespeople had a very important job to merchandise the product in the stores. So we had to stop that at the beginning. That we started to leave the product outside. We explained our customers that this is the situation. We both have to be protecting our people, their employees, our employees, and that is the best way to mitigate the exposure of the COVID with our employees. So our employees were actually dropping the product and not merchandising it, not going inside the store, and then going to another call and another.
And that's got to be tough, because now you said that they're drivers, they're delivery people, but they're also salespeople. And now they're not having that person-to-person contact that they're used to. And of course, a lot of sales is, I buy from people that I like. And if I'm not forming relationships, my sales may go down. And I don't know, but I imagine these drivers, are they even called drivers?
They're company employees.
Okay.
But yeah, their job is to drive the company vehicle. So I would say partially, but they do have a responsibility to drive, so they are termed as drivers as well.
Yeah,
but
no,
company employees.
I was just wondering, because some of the companies, employees like this have different job titles. They may be marketers or merchandise managers. Yes, they drive a company vehicle, but their job is so much more.
We call them sales representatives.
Yeah. And so they're out there, and now the way they sell is totally upside down.
Yes.
And I won't ask about how has it affected the company. That's none of our business. But I'm more interested in your role, and how did you learn the stuff that you're doing before you got to your employer?
So I would say a lot of the things I've learned is from the people in the industry. They're already there. They're spent number of years. I can take an example as you spent about almost like plus 30 years in the industry.
I'm old.
So those are the people who are always there to help me, and I have probably called you as well many times, and many other people who have never hesitated to help me. And that's one thing I've learned is when you need some help, always ask your mentors in the industry, who you actually feel that they can guide you. They can actually give you the true feedback that you need in order to be better at your work. And that's how it has been continuously going on with gyms that I had. I was always sharing with the mentors, and they were kind of very generous to give me the feedback at the same time. And if they're not the same time, but at least the next day they will have a follow-up call with me. But that's really important for me as a learner or the new person in the industry to kind of keep engaging with these mentors to continue learning more and more.
And how, so you've just said you're kind of new in the industry. You're not new anymore because you worked for a safety consultant. You've been with your current employer for almost 2 years, because here we are in October. You said you started 2019 in January. So it's almost 2 years you're coming up to. So you can't use that excuse new anymore. However, you are young. And I know you're part of the young leaders group at Private Motor Truck Council.
Yes, that's right.
What are you picking up in that group by being associated there?
To be honest, like my start with the PMTC would be in 2016, where I started as a young leader group only, where I stayed as a member only, which was like not expensive membership, but to start off with, it was a good channel to go into the PMTC, and then all those information tools and the people I was meeting, it was great. And I recommended that same group on the associate side. I told my company that if we can actually be a member of that company, a member of that organization, sorry, that would be very helpful for us, because PMTC regularly update us with many changes, many regulations, and then this COVID time, I can tell every single day all those emails were coming from PMTC Mike Million were very helpful for us. Like, I can give you an example. The recent email I got for that employees now have to get their temperature checked and the survey is done before they enter their work facility. So that was something not, that I forwarded to my company and HR, and they kind of were preparing it, but that actually gave them a little more information that they needed in order to be start doing that. And I think the following Monday, our company actually started doing it, and we are following it every day now.
Yeah, and I work here. My girlfriend, she owns a dental hygiene business. So ever since she reopened after COVID, when she was allowed to reopen, her protocol, and me being in the building, I have to follow her protocol. I take my temperature twice a day and have to record it. And there's a questionnaire that has to be completed. The whole routine. Yeah, this COVID stuff, I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah, it's kind of, everybody is tired of this one, but the way this is going, nobody wanted to leave their guard off. So it's good that all these measures are in place and we are actually following it. The max week, that's the best thing we can do for the community and for us and our family.
Absolutely. And when I say I'm getting tired of it, I am still sticking to the protocols strictly, because I look at, my brother lives in Florida, and when I compare the infection rate in Florida percentage-wise, because they're only about believe it or not, Florida is about 3 or 4 million more people than Ontario. Is that right? No, sorry. Florida is a few million more people than Canada. And so when I go back and forth and compare the infection rates, we're doing really well. Not as well as some countries in the world, but compared to our nearest neighbor, we're doing very well. So I'm not dropping my guard down, because I'm 65 years old. I sure as heck don't want this disease, or this disease, pandemic, whatever you call it, flu-like. because it could. I'm in that at the beginning, but I'm in that range group that are most effective negatively. You're still in the range group of.
It is. It has started to come on our side too. It's not that far. Seeing the numbers like it's under 40 now.
Well, you're getting it more, but the people who are dying are in my age group.
They're vulnerable. Yeah.
So anyway, going back to the PMTC and the Young Leaders Group, what is the Young Leaders Group all about?
So the Young Leaders actually supports those people who are wanted to be in the trucking industry, need and have a hunger to actually learn about it. We are there to support them and give them all the resources they need. So we continuously meet on a quarterly basis to see what things we can present it to our members. And we do a webinar. And last time we did the webinar and for the same agenda about COVID, asking about different companies, like how they are doing and what measures they are implementing and how they actually came far in order to how they mitigated all those exposures from the beginning to the point now. So those kind of webinars related to the trucking and different things, we support those individuals who are new and actually wanted to be in transportation and logistic business.
Awesome. And what would you say if somebody was graduating from high school, college, or university, and they were looking at perhaps making a choice as to where their career should take them? What would you say to encourage them, if you would encourage them? I guess that's the first question. Would you even encourage them to get into transportation?
Yes, for sure. There's no doubt in that. I would not encourage them because this industry has given me a lot, a big platform, big learning culture. I'm still learning, and it would be it's not stopping. It's continuous thing for me. And then these associations and the industry people always there to help me and guide me, like what new things are coming and what I can enroll with. So recently, I've enrolled myself to upgrade my knowledge under Certified Risk Management Program for University of Toronto. So for the new individual, they can start with anything in terms of logistic administrator, and as a safety administrator, or something like that as a start off, and then continue to look for new knowledge, new programs that they can start to upskill them. And yes, I have seen myself growing into it, and I'm still learning it. So it's not going away anywhere.
Well, Sud, I think you have a hunger to learn, and I hope that never goes away. We need more people like yourself who really want to be here for one. You chose it, and then now not only have you chosen it, but you've chosen to become very good at it. And for one, I appreciate that because you've put a lot of effort into it. So thank you from a guy who's getting very close to retirement to somebody who is coming in to replace. I mean, we need replacements. Us old guys are getting the heck out of here, and you youngins, we need more people like you. You're setting a great example as to how to get in the business. Because I first met you, as you said, a few years ago, but you were participating in industry events.
Yes.
You were getting out there, you were meeting some of the leaders of the industry at that time by getting to these events. And that's one of the things I wish more people would do, is get out of their offices, come meet some of us, not us, in that you got to get out and you got to meet your individuals. You got to make your connections.
Yeah. And then a big part of my learning, what I do now, and I have been doing in the past as well with other companies, is it's come from different people in the industry. Like I can take an example from a different company who might be the safety manager. If I have a challenge and I can share that challenge with them, maybe they already have a treatment for that. So while discussing those things in those events, it opened up a lot of good communication and learning there. That's how I've been taking all those learnings and be able to apply those into the role I am in.
Yeah, so it's wonderful. You're a great example as an example of what we need in the trucking industry, and I thank you for coming on the show. Last word. Is there something that you would like to say to a listener or a viewer as to why they should get into transportation?
One thing I would say it's a huge career opportunity, not just at driving. Driving is a big part because they're the essential worker, but nobody, if the other people are in the office, the admin task people, accounting, and everybody in the transportation, they are the ones who are actually supporting those drivers. Then only those drivers are actually on the road. So they play an important role too. So every job in transportation is huge and pays you a lot, not just the money, but also a big career. So I would highly recommend everybody if they starting to actually get into the choose their careers, I would say transportation and logistics is really good.
Thanks, Mr. Sud Malhotra.
Malhotra.
Malhotra. I'll get it. Kihala.
Very good.
Well, that's not very good, but hey, thanks, Sud, for coming on the show. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you more than coming on the show. I really do appreciate you and all the effort you put in, your continuing education activities, such as your CRM. How far along are you on that?
I am on my second semester now. It's not an easy course. It's not an easy course.
I have my CRM, and I was told recently that it has gotten tougher, not easier to get. So congrats for that. I'm glad I'm done with it.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your wishes.
Thanks, Sud. All the best.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Take care.
I hope you loved the show as much as I did. Please leave us a like, a thumbs up, a review, a comment, a rating if it is in your heart. Thank you so much. And I do really appreciate your time. And join us again next week for another exciting interview.